So I'll start every talk the way I like to begin every talk, and that's by saying, hello, my name is Sean Patrick, and I have issues. You know, I like to treat these as my own personal AA meetings, so I really appreciate you letting me do that. But I start every talk by saying that because it really speaks to what the world would perceive as our human malfunction, which is actually not a malfunction, it's a beautiful blessing, which led us to come to places like this on a Sunday morning. You know, nobody turned to wanting to live a life like this unless they had something that really shook them up. So I give thanks and praise and just complete devotion to that part of me which has issues. And in the context of Calgary, Unity Calgary this month, those issues that I have, that we all have, that is what's brought us to that pursuit of the light. You know, we came to look to the light. Because it's impossible in any spiritual tradition or religious tradition to not mention the light. I mean, the word enlightenment literally has it right there in the middle. In Christianity, in Judaism, in Islam, anything good always came with the light. No demon came down in a blaze of white golden light. It was always something gorgeous and good. And that's why we're here. And when I think about that topic of the light, it is a bit of an abstract subject, which we all understand with our beyond human brain, which is the only one we kind of need. But it is a bit of an abstract topic, and one thing I started to realize was, I feel like there's two very different lights that we speak about. There's the light from within us, that one that we get to cultivate and the one we get to grow by meditation, through love, through practicing what we're here to do. And also there's the light of God which gets to shine on us, and that's grace. And that's that perfect moment which could have gone a completely other way, but something at last minute came and shined on us. So they're the two lights I think that we play with a lot. And it's on the moments where that light within us meets that light shining on us, oh, that's a good day. That's, you know, there are times when you just get it, there's just like complete peace, complete understanding, you don't really have to worry about it too much, oh, then two lights are meeting up. And let's get one thing clear, you know, God doesn't turn his light off, God left his light on. And oftentimes we're children in the woods. I recently watched that Disney movie, Into the Woods. I recommend it, it's fantastic. But I started to think about, we are the children in the woods. God left his light on. And every now and then, we have a look, and it's like, oh yeah, that's home. And that's coming to something like this, we get a glimpse of the light. But we're the ones whose light can get turned off. And our light can get turned off for so many different reasons. Our light can get turned off and turned on so many different times in a day. And what we're really working towards is having that light within us bask in that light that God is always shining on us, that grace. So I want to take you back to who I've been before. And before I do that, I need to equip you with a saying. It's actually from the Bible, and the Bible is not, I was raised an Irish Catholic, but the Bible's not somewhere I regularly go for inspiration or guidance. But in this case, this passage I know is just so beautiful. It's Isaiah 60, and it says, "Arise and shine, your light has come." And like I said, I went to Catholic church years and years, couldn't tell you a single thing that was said, but I do know, arise, shine, your light has come. And that's important so that's my gift to you all, because you're going to need it when I take you into my story, so you've all got that now. So I'm going to take you back to when I was 21, and I was living my life the way a lot of people do. I was satisfyingly dissatisfied with what was going on. Like, it wasn't bad enough that I would make a change, but I wasn't happy either, in any way. And looking back, you know, people would say, you're insecure, you've got low self-esteem. Of course I did, I had no concept of the light. No wonder I was walking around insanely insecure with low self-esteem. And I also just didn't quite know how to navigate my way around my own human brain. And that's it's a huge skill we get through coming to things like this. We learn how to navigate our way through our own psyche and our own spiritual self and our own brain. But I didn't know that when I was 21. And because of that, I was miserable without knowing it. That's a dangerous place to be. When you know it, you do something about it. So I was miserable without knowing it, and at the time I was an outreach worker for a museum in Liverpool. And it was great, I enjoyed my job, I had a nice apartment, I drank fancy cocktails, on the surface it was all good. But I was this mess of a person who couldn't navigate through their brain, let alone their life. And one day that all got too much for me, and I guess in retrospect, looking back, I was having a panic attack. I didn't know how to call it that at the time. But I remember just leaving work just in a rush. I grabbed my bag, I ran out of work, didn't quite know where I was going. I knew that I didn't want to be here anymore. I think it would be an exaggeration to say that I was on the verge of suicide, but I did know I didn't want to be here. I didn't know the solution to that, but I knew that much. And in England we have these little cobbled streets, no bigger than this aisle in between the chairs here. And as I was having that panic and I was running away, and I crossed from this side of the street to that side of the street, it was as if the entire universe came to a halt to give me a message. Anybody looking on, this guy crossed the street. But the entire world stopped at what seems like as if just for me. And the message I got in that moment was, Sean, this is where you fall down, but stick around for your miracles. Translation, arise and shine, your light has come. Oh, we voted yes on Brexit, arise and shine, your light has come. Donald Trump is president, arise and shine, your light has come. And that's just continued with me up until now in my life, and what I plan to go on with is in them dark nights of the soul, which you're never alone in. I know when I'm having my dark night of the soul over in England, and you're having yours over here, and you're having yours over here, and it makes great company. Like, you get good company, people who've experienced the dark night of the soul. So what the universe, what the light, what God gave me in that time was actually removed me from my life, and I went to go live in Hong Kong. And it was one of those situations where I didn't even really get a say. Life took me away from all this that I knew, and I was thrown in to the complete unfamiliar. And I got a 101 with the light. I learned to meditate. Dear God, let me experience the light. I learned to pray. Dear God, how do I be the light? I read A Course in Miracles. Dear God, I am the light. And I just got this 101 in this thing called the light, this thing called spirit, this thing called God. And I became a junkie for wanting to hang about in the light. Like, I would just take everything I could, every seminar, every book. I did the hit, like, got it in light. I just needed it so much. Got the light. That's what I needed. That's why I'm here today. I'm here, I'm getting a bit of light from everybody. But I guess the most formal way I went to go and examine what is the light, I went and studied psychology, and to be fair, the complete time I did that degree, I didn't think I learned a single thing about the light. But I guess in retrospect, I can look at how it teaches the light. So developmental psychology, at a very young age, we can lose the light. Evolutionary psychology, there's still a primitive part of our brain that needs the light. Social psychology, we lose the light, so we hang out in groups hoping we can find the light. And the one that completely gave me cognitive psychology, where my human brain can get so bizarrely mangled up that I could forget who you were tomorrow, or Psychology 101, there's even something called Cape Grass syndrome, where I can know it's Susan, but I'm convinced someone else is on the inside. So you think I'm going to trust my human brain to find the light when it can be that mangled up? So I learned not to trust my human brain when it came to the light. And that's where we find it's beyond what we can contemplate, it's beyond what we can learn. But the big study amongst my master's degree was in spiritual intelligence, like Susan said. So another quick Psychology 101. The old model would say, as long as you're not ill, you're good. Whereas the new model says, we don't want to be at 0, we want to be at 10. We want to be in the light. But the old way, and if you've gone to traditional, psychology counseling, I don't know what the thing is, people would say, you're not in darkness, you're okay. But we're here because we say, that's not enough, I want to be in the light. And this newish area of research, called spiritual intelligence, that really looks at that part of our brain which is able to contemplate something so much bigger than ourselves. That's actually intelligence. And it's something we can cultivate, it's something we can work on. So for me, I just lean into the comfort of that so much that all I need is a tiny little slither of the light. And I can expand that to my whole life. And the light is sometimes there saying, can't you see me yet? I'm trying really hard to get your attention. And all I need is a slither, and I can turn that into my whole life. So, in the research I did, it was very, I'd love to say it was incredibly interesting. Parts of it were insanely dull. But I got to look at predictors of a term called flourishing, which is ultimate well-being and happiness. The people that live in the light. And the thing that came up, there were some very obvious things, mindfulness can help you live in the light. We knew that, same old. Emotional intelligence can help you live in the light. We can depict each other's emotions, same old. And the biggest predictor in all the research was this term called personal meaning production. If you're someone who can continuously produce meaning in your life, then you live in the light. And that's something we've heard before. Viktor Frankl's Man's Search for Meaning. We know your meaning generates a sense of purpose, a sense of being in the light. But what really hit me about that was, it didn't say meaning predicts flourishing the light. It said personal meaning production. Are you someone who can look at something that meaning may not be there and you can give it so? Are you someone who can look at a situation which could mean fear and apply the light? If you can do that, you got it. If you can approach a situation where there should be fear, Donald Trump is president, and find the light, you've got it. I'll give you another example of how this works. Big hello to my friend Janice Butler over here. I've been staying with her all week. And I came over because I spoke at Brave Souls last Saturday. And this is how Janice approached this. People around her will say, you need to employ a huge PR team. And she says, hold up, who God would have be there will be there. Situation where there could be fear, no one's going to come. Where's the meaning? Who God would have be there will be there. And if you can look at them situations where there should be fear and be able to apply the light, you've got it. That light within meets the light of God, and you have a good day. So I want to close by the words of gospel song that we all know so well, This Little Light of Mine. We all know that one. And the song doesn't say this big, grandiose spotlight of mine. The song says, this little light of mine. And I love our American friends, but we are taught a lot that you better play big or you better go home. But the song says, this little light of mine. And that is, if a room is completely dark and you light a little tea candle, that room's got light. So don't trip yourself up or stay hiding because you think, I need to have a big light. Because a tiny little spotlight, tiny little tea light, that will light up a room. So stop thinking it has to be so grandiose, so perfect, so good. You don't have to be the greatest light shiner. Light is light is light is light. And that's what I invite you all to do. I know we're going to go into meditation. The light within you, meet that light from God, and all God needs is that slither. Arise and shine, the light has come. Thank you all so much.